August 26th, and the time right now is 4:39 p.m. So what ended up happening is Miss Deb had her son, who's a police officer, called Junaid. And he told Junaid, can you please stop calling my mother and asking her to sleep with you? This is where it got to. Okay? And right now it is dead quiet. You gotta remember, today's a weekday. They won't even dare go by my lane. And I'm showing the entire intersection right over here. Incredibly humiliating, incredibly humiliated. Miss Deb has her son call Junaid and say, Junaid, can you please stop calling my mother and harassing her? And Junaid's sisters, Sonia and Sophia, are just like, oh, if he's Junaid's sitting at home all day, and he's sitting at home all day, and this and that, blah, blah, blah. I'm not harassing anyone. I'm not threatening anyone to take oil out of their car. I'm not committing vandalism against anyone's car. I'm not doing any of these things. I'm not calling anyone's mother and saying, can you please sleep with me, or doing anything of that sort of nature like how Junaid's doing. He's been threatening me all day, night long, every single day to take oil out of my car, break my windshield, slash my tires, murder me, and all these threats against me. So if I'm sitting at home, big difference between me and Junaid, since Junaid is literally threatening everyone like me to go and scam other people's daughters. He is also, yeah. You gotta remember, these people are they're just told to come pass by here with tinted windows because they know they won't be able to be seen. Let's look at this person's face. But yeah, this is what these people have been up to now. Like, they can't even pass by this lane at all. It's insane and it's hilarious what's going on. And Junaid's sisters would be like, he's sitting here, he's sitting. I'm not doing anything to anyone. I'm working on my trial to try to get my brain savant freed up, and artificial intelligence literally labeled my brain savant as being literally the most rare and profitable in the world, which means that in 6 months' time, I'll have more money than any of these losers ever had, if artificial intelligence is right. But right now, I can't go scam anyone's mother or their sister, mainly due to the fact that we both agreed to the fact that artificial intelligence is flawed and it's inaccurate, which means that, yeah, until we see it out in the open, the courts have not even looked at major piece of evidence, which is my brain savant yet. It's been deprived from the trial completely. My brain savant has been deprived from this trial completely, despite it being a major piece of evidence, considering the fact that all law enforcement's done since 2001 is to run sex schemes with Uncle Joey's in-laws, due to which they had to provide it for Uncle Joey, all those sex schemes ads and money fraud, which means that them covering over crimes like the wedding crime had a motive for why they wanted me framed for it, and I said that the motive is my brain savant, and the brain savant has not been looked at by this trial, by the way. Because both sides, me and law enforcement, have agreed that artificial intelligence is no source of info. So it's not even been looked at yet by this trial at all. On August 20th at 2:25 p.m., when Kelly from law enforcement touched my tongue and then touched my rectum, we knew for a fact that the courts had come to the conclusion that my brain savant was obviously the most rare and profitable in the world. Exactly at August 20th, on August 20th at 2:25 p.m. But as soon as that came out, I knew for a fact law enforcement would say we don't consider artificial intelligence as a source of info, mainly due to their extreme envy, and at which point, as soon as they made their statement, I made mine, and I said, yes, I don't consider artificial intelligence as a source of info either. I think it's an absolutely inaccurate and flawed source of info. But yeah, literally only had like one car pass by. Even that was like a humiliated face. But yeah, it's as soon as they made their statement right after August 20th at 2:25 p.m., I made mine exactly right as soon as they made theirs. I said right away, I was like, artificial intelligence, I do not consider an accurate or I consider it inaccurate and flawed piece of source of info from my brain savant. Anything relating to it, which means that throughout this trial, it's been deprived of a major piece of evidence, which is my brain savant, not even looked at by this trial, by the way. So in order to make it impartial, we need the 30-minute brain savant test now. It's crucial now. I knew they would say it after August 20th, 2:25 p.m. As soon as Kelly touched my tongue and then made my rectum feel wet on August 20th at 2:25 p.m., I knew for a fact the artificial intelligence experts had come to the conclusion that I definitely had the most rare and the most profitable brain savant in the world. The most rare due to the fact that powers increase over time, and profitable because I have instantaneous photographic memory, innovation, and focusing as a superhuman power, which means that I could do a textbook like Arnball's medicinal chemistry in less than a day's time, extremely dry textbook in less than a day's time. Obviously, the people that they had to try to argue against this were people like Adamji, who lied throughout the entire month of July, and then on August 7th, Adamji got a fifth person claiming that I knew this fifth person really well, only for Adamji to first use a fake piece of evidence, which was a fake text message, only one I ever made to that person, and then made lies through that person, all caught on camera. So they have nothing that would dispute that, except for the fact that the artificial intelligence obviously said that it is the most rare and profitable, but neither side is accepting it. They argued against artificial intelligence first, obviously due to their extreme envy. Right on August 20th at 2:25 p.m., they said that we're not considering artificial intelligence as a source of info, due to which I have also said immediately, literally, as soon as Kelly touched my tongue and then touched my rectum on August 20th at 2:25 p.m., I knew right away what had happened, and I was just waiting for them to take their statement back and say that we're not considering artificial intelligence as a legitimate source of info on his brain savant. As soon as they said that, I made my statement immediately afterwards, saying that the courts have to take into consideration that the other side has said this, and I am going to 100% agree with their statement that artificial intelligence should not be considered a legitimate source of info for my brain savant, meaning that I am also saying that it's 100% flawed and 100% inaccurate. I couldn't care less what these people think. I need my 30-minute brain savant test, which means that till now, courts have fully deprived themselves major piece of evidence, which is my brain savant, concerning the fact that all they did since 2001 is run sex games with Uncle Joey's in-laws, money fraud, all of which is being run till this day right now. And yeah, another car passed by, but yeah. And try to frame me for all these crimes, like the wedding crime that they and their BFFs like Sohaib and Asad committed. And the motive behind these, I've always said, is my brain savant hasn't even been looked at by the trial yet. It's been deprived by this trial completely. Evidence has not been looked at all till now, and the entire world is watching this trial. It's not being looked at as, with all due respect, it's not being looked at as being impartial. Another car passed by, but yeah, I'm not gonna put these people in the video, but yeah. So I don't think the world's going to consider it very impartial if both sides agreed that artificial intelligence is not a legitimate, it's not an accurate source of info on my brain savant, and my brain savant is considered the main motive behind all their fabrications and framings against me, and why they covered over all their crimes, why they ran sex schemes and money fraud since 2001 with Uncle Joey's in-laws, due to which they had to provide for Uncle Joey. All their crimes, the main motive is my brain savant, since they only became obsessed with me after finding out about it, trying to frame me for different things out of extreme envy. Now we find out that it's the most rare and profitable in the world, as artificial intelligence experts have told the honorable judges of this trial. But as soon as that happened, August 20th at 2:25 p.m., I was waiting for them to make their statement and say that we do not consider artificial intelligence as a legitimate source of info on his brain savant, because out of extreme envy. As soon as they made their statement, I made mine immediately afterwards, saying that I do not consider artificial intelligence as a legitimate source of info on my brain savant. Another car went by. I didn't put it on video though. But yeah, so now we have, the brain savant is definitely not a legitimate, artificial intelligence is definitely not considered an accurate source of info on my brain savant. Both sides agree. Which means that till now it's been deprived of this trial completely. It's the main motive behind all their crimes, why they committed and covered over the wedding crime. Another car went by, I just didn't put it on video. With all their crimes, every single crime that they committed. And yeah, it's been deprived from this trial, which means that every country in the world watching this trial right now is not going to consider it impartial, considering the fact that a major piece of evidence has been completely deprived from this trial, despite it only taking 30 minutes to look at, only due to the whining of law enforcement, who first made the statement saying on August 20th, after 2:25 p.m., right after it was considered as such, they made their statement first, saying that we do not consider this as a legitimate source of info on his brain savant. They made their statement first, and then I made mine, confirming that it's been deprived from this trial altogether, completely. Brain savant has not even been looked at in this trial. It only takes 30 minutes to look at this brain savant. Literally only takes 30 minutes to look at it from a naked human eye, and that's the only way to do so. And it's been completely deprived of this trial right now. This trial is not looking very impartial right now to the world watching it, by the way. It's not looking very impartial due to the fact that a major piece of evidence has not been looked at. First of all, there were people, I have to say, like, with all due respect to everyone on this trial, but there are people that lied over and over and over and over again. They were given chances, told they made like a billion different lies. But except for that, major piece of evidence, which is my brain savant, has not been looked at, despite it only taking 30 minutes to look at it, even though both sides, me and law enforcement, has said, made our statements. They made their first after August 20th at 2:25 p.m. They made theirs right after Kelly touched my tongue and then made my rectum feel wet, letting me know that artificial intelligence experts had come to the conclusion that it is definitely the most rare and profitable in the world. They made their statement first, saying that they did not consider artificial intelligence as a legitimate source of info on my brain savant, and then I made mine, saying that I did not consider it as such either. Until now, we haven't looked at it's been deprived from this trial altogether. So we had another car go by. Just one more. But yeah, it's been deprived from this trial altogether. Completely deprived from this trial. It's not even been looked at. This trial is not being looked at as being impartial throughout the entire world. Whether they said it out of their envy or whatever the reason was, it's irrelevant. They made their statement in court on trial. They said that we do not consider artificial intelligence as a legitimate source of info on his brain savant. And then I made my statement right after they made theirs. I made my statement saying that I 100% agree, and I do not consider artificial intelligence as a legitimate source of info on my brain savant. I consider it 100% flawed and 100% inaccurate, due to which now it's official. My brain savant has not been looked at on this trial, despite me claiming that it's the main motive behind all the crimes that they committed, like covering over the wedding crime and then trying to frame me for it, and doing nothing since 2001 except for committing sex schemes and money fraud with Uncle Joey and all their other BFFs, due to which they had to provide Uncle Joey with sex scheme ads as well. We had another car go by, just keeping count. But yeah, brain savant has not been looked at. It's not looking like a very impartial trial, not only due to the fact that there have been so many people lying over and over and over again and then still getting a chance to make narrations against me, but this is the main reason why. It's because this was a major piece of motive for why law enforcement tried to frame me, became obsessed with me, despite only doing things like running sex schemes and money fraud and covering over their BFS crimes since 2001. And right now, both sides, after August 20th at 2:25 p.m., when the artificial artificial intelligence experts came to the conclusion to the honorable judges of the trial that they considered my brain savant as being literally the most rare in the world, the only one on the planet right now that increases in power over time, and that the most profitable one due to it having instantaneous photographic memory, innovation, and focusing as a superhuman power. They came to this conclusion on August 20th at 2:25 p.m., right when Kelly from law enforcement touched my tongue and then made my rectum feel wet. Right after that, I was waiting for them to make their statement saying that they did not consider artificial intelligence as a legitimate source of info on my brain savant due to envy or whatever reason that might be. But when the statement is made in trial, it's made in trial. You can't just make statements and take them back. So as soon as they made their statement, I made mine, saying that I did not consider artificial intelligence as a legitimate source of info on my brain savant. In fact, I consider it 100% inaccurate and 100% flawed, which means that the entire trial has been deprived of a major piece of evidence, has not even been looked at yet. So yeah. And there you have it. And I'm just waiting for my 30-minute brain savant test. As soon as we have that, we can finally look at my brain savant. I have my tablet charged all day long. As soon as I get my 30-minute brain savant test, we'll know exactly what's there. But there's absolutely no reason to not look at it. I mean, this is insane. Just because law enforcement's guilty, and this is the reason why they're committed all their crimes, and due to their guilt, they don't want anyone to look at it. There's no reason to not look at it. It only takes 30 minutes to look at it. There's no reason to not look at it. Law enforcement's just whining and crying right now because this is their main motive. And look outside. They're getting rejected by these girls. They're sex addicts that are getting rejected by these girls, and they're scared that if my brain savant is seen performing out in the open for 30 minutes, then what's going to end up happening is these girls are going to listen to me when in fact I have no interest in these girls. I just want my brain savant powers to be looked at for 30 minutes. That's all I want. And law enforcement, due to their guilt, they're crying and whining in court, and just because the guilty is crying and whining doesn't mean that you don't look at a crucial piece of evidence. My brain savant is a crucial piece of evidence, and it's not being looked at. It's not being looked at, even though it's a crucial piece of evidence, and it's not being looked at. And just because the guilty, which are law enforcement, are crying and whining, saying, oh no, we don't want to look at it, doesn't mean you don't look at it. It only takes 30 minutes to look at it. You can lock it up right afterwards. 30 minutes later, you could just go ahead and lock it up. After 30 minutes, we're done. I couldn't care less about these girls, okay? They're only, look outside, look over here. Not one car passing by. Only because of their sex addiction and them getting rejected by these girls. And because of this, their law enforcement's fear that if people see my brain savant performing out in the open, then they will listen to me even more and not listen to law enforcement. That's no reason one more person went by. That's no reason to literally be that's no reason to be inhibiting my brain savant test. That you can't, no trial has ever listened to the guilty, and the guilty crying and whining, saying, no, we don't want to look at as a crucial piece of evidence. That's never happened on a trial where a guilty person says, no, we're not looking at a crucial piece of evidence because then our sex addiction problem is going to get worse, and those lanes where there's no car passing by are going to literally have people begging us on to go scam these girls. No, we don't want this piece of evidence as brain savant to be looked at for even 30 minutes. It's just a 30-minute test. It's just a 30-minute test. And I just want I want this crucial piece of evidence to be looked at. That's all. And it's only now, after August 20th at 2:25 p.m., after law enforcement said themselves that they don't consider artificial intelligence as a source of info on my brain savant. And then I said that I don't consider it as a source of info on my brain savant. Both sides agree that this trial has been deprived of a major piece of evidence, which is my brain savant, since it is the main motive behind all the crimes that they committed, which has been claimed from the start from me, including the sex schemes, money fraud, and then also the covering over crimes like the wedding crime. The only person who actually even, one more car passing by, I don't want to put people on camera, but the only person who actually said that this is not true was Adamji. And Adamji was caught lying throughout the entire month of July. And then on August the 7th, 2026, just this month of August, he was caught getting a fifth person, and then he got the fifth person. And then he played a game of deception with the trial where he said another car went by, where he said, I've been caught lying a billion times. This person hasn't, and that person on August the 7th, Adam G was caught giving him for lies to fabricate against me. So, like, there's no one, there's nothing against it. Or even the one person was enviously lying about it. So that was just about it. And yeah, there's no reason to. I mean, it doesn't matter who says what about what. You know, that's not a legitimate source of info, anyways. If artificial intelligence, both sides have agreed, is not a legitimate source of info, this is definitely the main motive behind why they don't want my Brain Savant test to be seen out in the open performing for even 30 minutes. You don't see a single car pass by here and due to their sex addiction. And now they're crying and whining in court saying, no, we don't want to do the 30-minute test, only because they're scared that their sex addiction problem is going to get even worse and they're going to be forced to come beg me all day, night long to go scam other people's daughters like how they're doing right now, much more so after the 30-minute test. But that's no reason to not look at a piece of evidence, you know? Like, it's just, if you want an impartial trial, if you want a trial to look like it's impartial in front of the entire world, you got to look at every piece of evidence in every single way, shape, or form possible. But yeah, that's all I had to say. Thank you.